to start again and pretend that there are people in the room. Deal? We'll try it again? Yeah? To teach you one of the new nigunim. I guess in the middle of the night, the new album came out of the composer that wrote this nigun, Michal Shapiro. This second album, I've been telling you about it for years. We've been working on it for mamash 4 years. This was the hardest album I ever worked on, ever. Mamash. I never worked so hard. It was the war in the middle, but also there was a lot of changes along the way. And also we used AI for the first time of pulling off Michal's vocals from 45 years ago off of these tracks that were recorded very poorly in I'm not even sure where, and then putting it on a new production, on a whole new orchestration, and then putting his vocals, but also getting it to the exact tempo and pitch. It was like it's a whole new world. But I'm so humbled and excited to share this one because this album, because this one, I'm telling you, Chevron, if you didn't listen to it yet, it's an emotional outpouring of tears of longing. I keep on coming back to that word of longing. And to produce this was like pachad ayom v'nora. The first one too. This one was just like a yira from it, mamish yira from it. So, and each artist that ended up singing on the tracks, this is like each one came in and brought out something that, like this one, for instance, Chaim David sings on this one. This was one of my favorite nigunim of Michal Shapiro. Most of them are English songs, so it's not really like nigunim and stuff, but it's it tugs on the heart in ways that only he could. So listen to this nigun. Ki imcha mekor chaim beorcha nir'e or ki imcha For with you is the source of life. In your light do we see light. For with you is the source of life. In your light do we see light. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך. Do you know what it is to sing a song that you sang alone for probably 20 years and then sing it with everybody? Mashu Achay, it's unbelievable. Schus, and it should, Be'ez Hashem. This is the parsha of Ufaratzta. So, if there was ever a time to put out something in Ufaratzta, just to get Mazel Tov. Shulam just had a baby boy this week. Baruch Hashem. Mazel Tov. Shbei Zoich to Mekabel Pnei Mashiach Tzidkeinu. Oh, shkoyach, yeah. A lot of, it's very, very, very special. Okay, Chevra, if you give out these pages. On the page, on the sefer Shin Gimel Vav. We're nearing the end of the sefer. And it's very exciting. Before I forget, another wonderful opportunity we have. Shin Gimel Vav. Shin Nun Gimel. Sorry. My head's all verklempt. I was stuck in the tunnels last night during that whole shooting. With my wife and babe daughter. Mishugas. Came out an hour. It was, yeah. This Wednesday night, we have the schus of having the Bialer Rebbe come to our shul. This is not simple stuff. I don't know what's going on. No, I'm like the gates have been opening. The tzaddikim are coming in. Wednesday night at 8 p.m. It should be a strong Kabbalas Panim like we did with the Talmud Rebbe and obviously with Rav Weinberger, but really chazak. This is for the. I've been learning with the women on Thursday mornings, the sefer of his father, the Mavaser Tov, about malas tfilas nashim, and he has a lot of svarim, bischus nashim tzadkanios. And Bialer is a very, very important. You could do the homework if you want before the Rebbe comes. Just sit here for till you figure it out on the wall of. This is like the wall of fame over here. You'll find it. Just kind of check in with the Yiddah Kodesh of from Piaseczna, and then you'll find it. So 8 p.m. this coming Wednesday night is very, very special, and I want all the chevra to show up like we did last time, and even more. Beroiv Am Hadras Melech and. We should be zoche to realize what a schus we have, that these tzaddikim are coming to Grace Arbeit Midrash. It's crazy. Lo muvan me'elav. These things never happened before. Bless you. So we're nearing the end of the sefer Shin Nun Gimel. Sorry about that. Now, even though over here it's by Shalosh Shudas, we all know that we start Shabbos with this also with Yedid Nefesh Avarachman. And the pasuk, the words we're going to be focusing on is Yedid Avdecha Kemo Ayal. How do you say Ayal in English? Ayal is a deer?
It's a
type of a gazelle? A gazelle. Yedid Avdecha Kemo... Actually, where's Jerome? I should ask him. Your son's name, right? Yedid Avdecha Kemo Ayal. So this is a very, very important teaching that I could sum the whole thing up with telling you it in one sentence. We are infinitely stronger than we think we are. That's the whole Torah we're going to learn today. And now we're going to see it inside. So please look inside the bottom of Shin Nun Gimel. Yedid Avdecha Kemo Ayal. The pages went around? Yeah? Okay. Ita B'Gemara. The Gemara in Bracha says, L'olam Yedid Adam Lidvar halacha va'afilu b'Shabbos. And we know that actually on Shabbos you're not supposed to be running, right? You're not supposed to have a psia gasa. But it says, L'olam Yedid Adam Lidvar halacha afilu b'Shabbos. Shenemar, Achrei Hashem ילכו כאריה yishag. As it says in Hosea, after Hashem you shall walk like a roaring lion. Now, what is the Gemara and Bracha speaking about over there that a person should run to dvar halacha? So it's a whole sugya, but basically, when we have the opportunity not just to do a mitzvah, but to also refrain, chalila, from being over an avera, a person has to run from it, or run towards the Torah, always. Now, there's a problem over here. Are you supposed to run or are you supposed to walk? Because the proof the Gemara brings seems to be contradicting itself. Because first it says, לעולם ירוץ adam. Okay, what's the proof that a person should run? He brings a pasuk that should have said, אחרי Hashem, what? ירוץ. But it says, ילך, right? אחרי Hashem ילכו כאריה ישג. והטמיעה ידוע. So this is not a chiddush. Anyone that's learning this sefer, they speak about this all the time. It's a well-known kashya. הרי בפסוק נאמר, אחרי השם ילכו, והיח למד מכאן שיש לרוץ לדבר מצווה. The pasuk speaking about walking. From here we're learning you're supposed to run. It doesn't make so much sense. זיידי, וביר הרב הקודש, החידושי HaRim, זכות יגן עלינו. כי הנה ההולך על משענתו מתשוס כוחו. If someone is walking with a cane, we're back to a makel, to a mishenet, right? The leaning. Right? Hine halech al mishanto mitashus kocha. Sorry for a little tangent. Just because it happened this morning, like 7 a.m., I got a text from a woman that video that went around of micha, micha, micha. She says, I don't know if you know, but my husband wrote that nigun. And he's been very sick for a while, and I'm going to go tell him that the chevra now, it's like being resurrected. And because it did, it really, a lot of chevra now started singing that nigun. So this woman contacted me. It was a 718 number, I think. I couldn't believe it. This woman, mamish, like for her, it was like middle of the night, and she says, "I want you to know, my husband, who's been sick for a while, it's his nigun." I said, "Who's your husband?" She told me the name. I'm like, "You're not going to believe this. Your husband and my father are like best friends for many, many years." If many of you remember him, his name was Martin Davidson. He was a singer. He is a singer. He was a Baal Shem in 80s and 90s more. It's a lot of different nigunim. So you never know who needs to hear what at what time, right? I was just thinking about it because the mishenet, because that was the whole Torah about shiftachal mishantecha, right? Melech meim yisrael l'chayim, utzmiach yishua. Ki hine aholech al mishanto mitashus kocho. A person that's leaning on they need a cane to get by because they're exhausted. Ulefeta yire aryeh liyada, and suddenly you see a lion come next to you. Bevada yanus mishom kimetach nekeshes. You'll check out of there in a second. You forget the fact that you've been using a cane. A lion's coming, you're not going to be like, let me... No, you drop the cane and you'll run out of there. V'atamu, what's the reason for this? Ki b'sha'as ha'sakana mis'orim bo kol kochos ha'adirim ha'tmunim bo. As this whole country has seen for over the last 2 years, that at a time of danger, all of the kochos, the immense, amazing gewaldige kochos that we have, hatmunim boy, that are in us, suddenly show up in the time of sakana. Things you thought you could never accomplish, places in life you thought you could never reach, strength you thought you could never ever access. Not that you couldn't access, you didn't even think you had it. Accessing means I have it, I just don't have access to it. I'm talking places you never, shasa sakana. Now we learned by Rabbi Osher earlier this week that really every single moment in life is a shas sakana. If we really knew what life was about, every moment in life is a shas sakana. That means that there's the potential to tap into the kochos adirim the moment that I realize that a life without kuchabrichu, a life without meaning, a life without longing is a shas sakana. And the more that I realize that, the more that I discover everything that I already have inside of me. And this is what the kochos is coming to teach us. That when a person's coming to do a mitzvah, that suddenly the weak person will say, I'm not weak. I'm not weak. I'm a gibor. I'm not hitting snooze. I'm not talking back to my wife. I'm not letting it out on my children in a way that's going to make me feel disgusted and ashamed, and then call my father or mother and blame them. I'm a gibor if I realize what's in front of me. So here he's saying dvar mitzvah, but it really also works the other way, running away from sakana. Ki mirov tchukoso, on the next page, ki mirov tchukoso lasos ritzon kono. Because from such a passion to do the will of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you'll end up running towards a mitzvah. When I just get this consciousness, when I'm plugged into this, what the MS is, what Shivisi Hashem Lenegdi Samid really is. I could start running in places that I thought, are you kidding me? I have no kochos at all. והדברים אמורים ביוסר כאשר מגיע אליו ניסיון בעניין יראת שמיים. Obviously, when it comes to things that have to do with Yiras Shamayim, the Nisyunas Yiras Shamayim, she'alav lanus min ha'avera, that I have to run, flee from the avera. Chevron, the word lanus, no? Where is it from? Before that. Yosef. Vayanos vayetze achutza. Yosef HaTzadik. Eshes Potifar. The Lashon there is that it ran. He ran out. Who knows how tired he was? Who knows what was going on with him? That's why by Az Yashir, we say, right, when we say by Kriyas Yamsuf, Hayam Rav Vayanos, the Midrash says, the schus of Arono Shel Yosef, that Moshe Rabbeinu was carrying the Aron of Yosef, right? He didn't carry that. Him and Serach Bas Asher, the beautiful Midrash say, they yanked him out of the waters, because the Egyptians knew that the secret of our Geula was dependent on Atzmas Yosef, because Pakot Pakati, every time he made the Shavua. So the Midrash says, they put him in a coffin and they tied it with shackles and shackles and shackles, and it sunk to the bottom of the sea. Moshe Rabbeinu needed to get Yosef HaTzadik out of there before they could leave Mitzrayim. Serach Bas Asher shows up. She's a very, very amazing, mysterious character in the Torah and in the Midrash. Together they call it out and he comes up. And in the schus of that, Hayam Ra'av Vayanos. So this inyan, so Naftali's right. It's the same thing about Yanus Sham Kol Retzeach. The Torah continues to use this lashon of running to a place. Why would the Torah use the lashon of Vayanos for a person that has to find an Ir Miklat? It's very clear. Because after you kill somebody, you know the last thing you have koyach to do? Anything. You just want to end life. When you realize, especially if it was a mistake. So the Torah uses that lashon also over there. All these words are the words. All this mahalach is to remind us that inside of us, as tired as we think we are, or as non-inspired as we think we are, b'sha'as sakana vayonos, we have it in us. Like I'm sure you've heard of all the different stories about Nebuch, Rachmana Litzlan. I saw this one time in my life as a little kid in Los Angeles when a car flipped over. If a car flips over, you ever see someone trying to actually, especially if their kids are in the car? My mom saw this, and I'll never forget where this was. La Brea and 3rd, I think it was, in Los Angeles. I saw this in carpool coming home, that a Yiddish Shemala with the Rebbe Volkswagen. You know, remember those? The Volvo, what was it? Yeah. Mamish, that was exactly that thing. It flipped over in front of me. The mother had 3 kids in the back seat. Suddenly she has this koyach to come and start it. She wasn't matzliach, but to even think that you have the koyach. In a normal day, would you tell someone, hey, try to flip that over? Mapito, you crazy? I'll get a backache, I'm going to injure myself. There's no point to it. Sha'as sakana, we tuned into these kochos. We should never, chalila, have to go to those extreme examples. Aval, they're real. So just for the chaver that have the sefer, just one more line in the next page. Ukadit Mishnah have bereach min avera. That's what it means. And the Mishnah in Avos says to run away, to run lanus min avera. Now, chaver, the shir really starts now. Okay, it starts now because we have a Rav Biederman footnote that's going to change our lives. Look inside Mem Aleph. Footnote Mem Aleph and Shin Nun Daled. This is unbelievable. Siper Hagon Achashov Reb Gidel Eisner. We've spoken about him many times. Shekodem HaMilchama Hikir Zaken Echad Shaya Ben Shishim. No, don't freak out, Chevra. But back then, that was considered Zaken. Because he says over here, Be'os Mayamim Haya Hadavar Nechshav Lezikna Shel Mamish. Back then, you made it to 60. Before the war, you were doing really good. Shaya Yoshev Velomed Bebeis HaMidrash. He was sitting and learning in shul, in Beis Midrash. Midei Pam Haya Pone Le'echad Me'ovrim Vashovim Umevakesh Me'imo She'yachin Lo Kos Teh. He was already zikna. He would ask people that were passing back and forth, make me a cup of tea. Ki haya margish be'atzmo ki ekev ziknuso v'tashuso en dai koch b'motnov l'hachin la'atzmo kos mashke. He felt old. He thought, I don't have koyach for this. I'm going to ask people passers-by to come and give me a cup of tea. And this would happen all the time. Ukvar haya ma'aseh shebikesh mi bachur az panim she'yachin lo kos teh. You know what an az panim means? Mm-hmm. He chose the wrong guy. To prepare for him a cup of tea. ועושו בוחר השיב לו, so the Bocher answers back, וכי למה יטריח מעלס כבודו בכל יום, בכל עשר ובכל שס, ומספלים ועלונים שיכינו המשקה, why are you bothering people every day that are passing back and forth to make you a cup of tea? יקום נאמר ויקיים בעצמו מצווה שימוש תלמיד חכמים. שהרי מצווה בוי יוסף בשלוחו. What a mechutz עבדך cup. What is he saying? You want to really mishamish tamiid chachamim? There's a mitzvah. It's more on you than your shaliach. Whatever. It's not for now, but those that are holding understand this. The alvai should be holding, but you know what I mean. Like mitzvah boy yosem b'shlucho. You get it's more of a mitzvah when you do something instead of sending a shliach. That's regarding a lot of different things. But this is what he's telling the guy himself. Yakum, right? Ach also Yudi nenach yikrechts ve'amar lo tzadku dvarecha. You're right. Ach ma esev en kochim v'otnei. But what can I do? I don't have any koyach. This is before the war. Himshich Rabbi Gidel v'siper. La'achar zman muat kofshu Chidushei HaRim is Poland. So a little time later, Yimach Shemam, they conquered Poland. V'anihu gleisi b'shever achar shever l'machnos ha'avoda yachad im oso zoken. And I was going from camp to camp with that same old man that was in shul. V'sham reisiv yageh v'amal chamisha eser shos midayim b'yoymayim. I saw him breaking his back 15 hours a day with hard labor that they put him through. Vayanose al gabo masos kvedim minso. They made him, he had to schlep on his back very heavy pekelach. V'shema tishalu. You may ask, heach asa kadavar hazeh. How could he have done it? This is the same guy that was asking people to make him a cup of tea. Ki yada she'im yisatzel afilu b'me'at miyad tipach nafsho alei echad ma'atzayrenim. Because he knew that the moment that he showed any weakness and he'd show and he'd display any laziness, the German that's standing right there would pop a bullet in his head. Umisham lamati, Rav Gudel says like this. From there I learned kama kochos atzumim tmunim ba'adam. Tamun ba'adam doesn't mean it was invented, that these kochos are invented. Tamun ba'adam means it exists within us. Ve'ein alav ki'im lehotzi es kol elu ha-kochos min ha-koyach la-po'al. V'yuchal lasos v'lifol gdolos v'netzuros. And when you act like this, and you don't wait for shas sakana, and you tap into it before by inviting an awareness of sakana, wow, what koyach you're living with. What koach atzum you're dealing with. Af mishmei shel Rav HaKodesh Avnei Nezer, maybe b'noi Rav HaKodesh Hashem Yishmuel. So the Sochatchover Rebbe brought in the name of his father. Shebechol adam tmunim kochos adirim she'eino megale osam ki im be'ez sakana. All of us have seen this. Last night in the tunnel, you know what happened? I couldn't believe this. If you would tell me that I'd have to figure out how to deal with this, I would say to you, I would have lost my mind. We're wamish going in the tunnel. As we go in the tunnel, suddenly there's a loud azaka. Parza srefa. Na litpanot mina minara miyad. Was anyone else in the tunnel last night? You were there? You were in it? Did you hear it? That azaka. Parza srefa. I have my wife and my daughter in the back seat, right? Na litpanot minara miyad. So I'm thinking, what? A fire broke. Get out of the tunnel right immediately. What's the problem?
How do you get out of the tunnel?
You can't get out because it was jammed in there. My first thought is backdraft. Is that what it was called? Yeah. That right away I'm going to see Khalila, this massive fireball, and I don't know from what way it's coming. I also don't know how deep in the tunnel I am. I couldn't figure it out. I didn't know what was closer.
Was it a long tunnel?
The long one. I didn't know which. I couldn't figure it out. So, and all the cars I stopped, and I'm thinking, oh my God, Ribono Shel Olam, what am I going to do? And of course, everyone stops, and of course, a bunch of chevra go out of the car. I'm thinking, where is it safer? V'chulei. I go out of the car. I say to Bina, I'm just going to go and smell to see what direction. I go out and I smell. I'm like, there's nothing going on, but I see tons of magavnikim and hatzala, and everyone's running towards. Then I figured out, okay, so something happened towards that direction, but for 20 minutes we couldn't figure out what was going on. So if you if maybe before 2 years ago, these things would seem more triggering and traumatic because we've been through so much. But at that moment, it was almost like with my cup that I use during the week, I'm done. Because how do you function like this? Is it a fire? Is it not a fire? Are there mechablim that are running into the tunnel right now? Why are they going with their guns right now? What's going on over here? But then you realize it's a shas sakana. You have to play it cool. And you can't show your wife or your kid your phone. Especially when Duvi sent a message right then and there on the shtim, which is what people thought it was in the beginning. It really is a totzah of terror, the fact that it even happened, because we were trying to make sure that these nevelas stop coming in illegally, as if there's something that's called legally, which is also a tipshus sakana that we're Am Yisrael Shever Refuah Shlema immediately from that too. But it's like this with Shas Sakana. The point is that, and Reb Nosson speaks about this in the Likutei Halachos, the ultimate ideal way of serving the Ribbon Shleilam is with the awareness of what the sakana brings you without the sakana. To take it even further.
You said it again.
I'm going to say it differently now. Reb Shlomo taught this based on the Ishbitzer and Me'eshlachem Beis Yaakov and Parshas Miketz Vayigash. The difference between Yosef and Yehuda, we always say tzaddik and Baal Tshuva, right? That the Baal Tshuva, he feels something that tzaddik, Baruch Hashem, never had to feel, but Mokom Shabbat Tshuva Umdim En Tzaddikim Gurim Yecholim Lamod. So the Katz Rebbe's voice is harsh. Why can't the tzaddik stand where the Baal Tshuva is? He says because it stinks there. So that's why we don't like that. I mean, it's a heavy void, but now try to go to the pnimius of it. Reb Shlomo said like this. Yosef HaTzadik was able to taste how much a Yiddish heart breaks when it's Mechalel Shabbos without Mechaleling Shabbos. Do you hear how deep that is? Without actually Mechaleling Shabbos, he feels the pain that a Yid goes through when he ends up Mechaleling Shabbos. So the Baal Tshuva feels it by action, or he did before. The Tzaddik, Yesod Olam, can feel that exact pain without being over on the lav, right? Or not doing the asay. Back to Reb Nosson. He doesn't say the tzaddik, but he says about Yiddishkeit that a person has to aim towards reaching a place that they wake up and feel the immediate danger without literally going through the danger. Right? And because that's access to the kochos hatmunim banu. So here we have examples, and we have ein sof examples in our Masoret, the people that had to go through it like this. But the point of this is, Akiva has a famous song with these words. Yesh becha. What are the words? Who's Akiva? Where's Yaniv when you need him? Cool. No? Ooh, come on, you guys are embarrassed. There's got to be some Akiva Chasidim in the room. No, what's the words? Yesh becha. Yeah, but what are the words there? He has lyrics there that also speak about this, that you have, you have, it's a little bit different. Kolod lo ifsakta, lachalom, אתה מנצח, weiter? Okay, you'll go home and listen to it, but it speaks about this, it speaks about this inyan. Now one more, the end of this footnote over here. Just want to go to the bottom over here. This is an amazing thing. Because this is the Klausenberger. Actually, sorry. Let's finish this paragraph. Again, Af mishmei shel Rav HaKadosh Avnei Nezer, maybe b'no Rav HaKadosh Shem Yishmuel, shebechol adam tmunim kochos adirim she'eino megala osam kim be'ez sakana, v'haya omer. And the Sochatchover would say like this, ki kach hi ha-metzius, shebe'ez sheporetzes srefa b'veisa shel adam, harei hu megala kochos adirim, ube'oz v'tza'atzumos lehaziz bimkomam, chafatzim v'aronos kvedim minaso, bichdei la'atzil et bno ha'katan. Chalila, your little boy is stuck behind a dresser, behind a fridge somehow. Lo yedama. That things that normally you wouldn't go and approach and say, I could probably move this. You don't think, you just move it when it's pshas sakana, if a fire breaks out, and this is what you need to do. This is what you need to do. Ve'al tomar, but he says like this, but don't say, sherak be'et sakana kibel kochot elu. Don't say, now that it's a danger, I'm in a danger, Hashem gave me the kochos now. He's almost saying that's kfira. You didn't have it, and now, magically, Hashem gave you these supernatural kochos. Don't say it. Ki be'emes hinam chavuyim bekirbo. That be'emes chavui, it's hidden, it's there. It's tucked in away, it's in you. Ve'enam ki'im mizgalim be'elu hamatzavim. But the truth is they just be revealed in these situations. Kfi she'amru chachmei hamechkai. כי במשך ימיו של אדם אינו מוציא אל הפועל כי אם 7 חלקים מתוך 100 מכוחו וגבורתו. That's already a high percentage. What did he just say? Who's חוכמי המחקר?
Someone who's using 7% of their...
No. Who are the חוכמי המחקר? Philosophers or scientists. Saying the ones that observed man's behavior throughout life, they come to the conclusion that throughout a person's life, they only attach themselves, they're only able to activate 7% of their koyach. How much do you think the access of their brain? What do you think? I read an article that it's 4%. 7% of their koach, they activate. But in a time of pain and distress, you mishtamesh bechol kochosav. You use everything. So we'll end it with the Klausenberger Rebbe. Pam bikesh Rav HaKodesh HaShefer Chaim mi'askan echad sheyifol be'inyan mesuyam. He asked an askan. There's no word for that in English. Okay? An askan. Nana, and he said, I need you to do something. Nana ha'askan. Listen to these words, because we say these words often. E'aseh kechol shebeyecholti la'asot. I'll do whatever I can. I'll do whatever I can. Do you realize how false that statement is? I'm going to do whatever I can. Don't ever say those words. Look what he says. Amar lo haRebbe, v'chi yesh lecha hasaga kama kochos v'yecholos yesh b'yad ha'adam. Do you have any idea what you can do? You don't know what you can do. Shma l'maaseh she'saper lecha. Az teida kama kochos yeshnam bechol adam. Now I'll tell you a story, and now you'll know how much kochos people really have. Biyamim shelifnei hamilchama, also pre-World War II, kshe'yashavti al keser rabbanut be'ir Klausenberg. I was sitting as a rav in Klausenberg. Masarti shiurim kesidron beveis hamedrash. I'm giving shiurim, sitting and learning. Ume'achar she'asfarim be'osanim kvedim hayu. Back then the sfarim were much heavier. Why? Bedapim avim, thicker pages, v'krichot gdolot v'kvedot. And the binding was much more heavier. If any of you have those old, they're geschmack. They're amazing. But today we want to cram in as much as we can into COVID. So the big thick ones there. I saw some of them by the Rav's house this week, like the old ones, heavy ones. העמידו לרשותי בחור מיוחד שסייע לי בנשיאת הספרים הרבים מהשיר. So they gave me a guy, a little shamus, that would help me schlep the sfarim. The Klausenberger Rebbe says. שלא היה בכוחי לנוסם בעצמי. I couldn't carry it by myself. אך הנה באו ימים הקשים, ימוס המלחמה. The war comes. ולפתע גיליתי בעצמי kochos אדירים. And I was discovered in myself the most tremendous kochos. שכן הרשעים ימח שמם הכריחו אותנו Lifnos es ha'arisos bevarsha ve'od mekomos. So the Germans, what did they make us do? Lefanot et ha'arisot bevarsha ve'od mekomos. That means
clean up the ruins.
Clean up the room, clean up the destructions, right? Ube'osam yamim ha'isi nose avonim kvedos u'pisei barzel shemishkalam ala al mishkal gufi. I was carrying metal. I was carrying heavy rocks that were heavier than my own body weight. B'kol zos nimshach yamim rabim, and it lasted for a long time. B'chol yom b'meshach yud beis shalos v'yoseh. The Klausenberger Rebbe is saying, 12 hours a day and even more. Kshe'ein anu nizonim ela mimatnas lachmam hazu'uma. Each of us would get a stale piece of bread for our daily dose. U'b'chol zos ach b'kedei she'yishe'er ben ha'chaim. But in order to stay alive, as lamati, she'ein gvul lekochosav shel adam. That there's no end to a person's kochos. E.g. Segev Kalfon. Eviatai David, Matan Ernst, all the Bar Cooperst, and. Ve'af ata siyem ve'amar la'askan. So he ends and he tells this askan, אם הבטחת שתעשה ככל יכולתך, if you said you're going to do whatever you can, דע לך שאחריות כבדה מוטלת עליך כעת. You don't understand what kind of responsibility you have on you right now based on what you said. כי ללא ספק, ביכולתך לעשות כן, because without a doubt, you can do this. וכבר אמר הרב הקדוש היסוד העבודה. יסוד העבודה, one of the Zaydas of Slonim. זכוס יגן עלינו, בפסוק. להודיע לבני האדם גבורosiv. Everyone thinks that means Hashem's גבורוס. דקאי על האדם. להודיע לבני האדם. Tell yourself how much of a gibor you are. Know how strong you are. שעליו להודיע לעצמו es גבורosiv. אלו הקוחos עצומים תמונים בהם. בכל עבודתו היא להוציאה מהכוח לפועל. All you're really here to do in this world is to discover that which you already have and then to bring it into fruition. Where did this all come from? ירוץ עבדך כמו אייל. Apparently the way that a gazelle runs is supposed to me'or in us, to awaken in us this notion that when we realize what's real in life, and when we know what's kedai in life, and when we know what's not kedai, we'll either run from what's not kedai, or we'll run towards what's kedai. And especially if I have no koach, and especially if I'm shvach, v'chulei, when the awesome recognition comes down to what life is all about, I'll run from it. I will. So I want to give us a bracha to not wait until we're b'shas sakana. I want to give us a bracha that we don't wait till we're b'shas sakana of timtum hamoyach, of what happens to our brains with consuming so much shtus that is an absolute sakana to our kiyum. That's on the personal level. To run once you see it and to realize you have the kochos. You could put the pocket computer away for half an hour. It's possible. It's actually possible to put your phone away for 5 minutes even right now, even during a shir. It's an Inyan, like it could be. If you feel that it's not possible, don't wait for your son or your daughter to overhear them telling their friends when they're older, do you know what it was like growing up to get my father's face away from the screen? You want to wait till that's sakana? Chas v'shalom. You could do it right now. That's baprat. Baklal, are we going to wait for a much more improved October 7th till we realize what kind of sakana we're in here? We're crazy, chavra. We're nuts. We are insane that we have not done what we're supposed to do. But I'm realizing, in a level of individuality, that it's dependent on each other. The avodas hanefesh, the avodas hanefesh, is probably what the Ribono Shel Olam is saying. If you realize what your nefesh is, and the sakanas of your nefesh, then it would be a low plug. Then you'd go and take care of business without a problem. So all this military gvura and everything, without the kochos of the nefesh, of the spiritual warrior, discovering who he is and what it means to carry a nefesh elokis inside of us, I'm starting to feel like that's really the avoda, more than trying to get people to realize that we're surrounded by a bunch of chevra that should not be alive. So whatever the sakanas are, I just want to give a bracha to Am Yisrael to wake up, that it should start from us, that we should wake up and we should yarutz avdecha kemo ayal. We should run towards the things that we know our lives are dependent on. And if you can't run, then have a friend that you could walk a little bit faster with, get a chavrusa that could help you march towards there a little bit faster. And most importantly, that every ounce that we run towards what really matters in life, please know, it brings the Ribono Shel Olam infinite amount of nachat ruach. Infinite. And all we want to do is bring Hashem nachas. It's all we really want to do. Don't belittle any step of running towards Kedusha. Every step brings an infinite amount of nachas. It should be, and that schus should be rachmim and rachmanos on all of Am Yisrael, and bring about the redemption, not just b'mheira b'yameinu, But like the Rebbe was saying towards the end, Teichef umiyad mamash, Bezrat Hashem.